everyone, it's that time again. Last weekend was the Battle for Zendikar pre-release. I hope everyone had a good time. I know I certainly did. And Battle for Zendikar is not yet out on Magic Online, so we're playing some Modern. It seems like the most relevant format right now, but it's kind of also not that relevant. So we're playing a brew. We're taking this deck that was popular way back. Well, not even that popular really, but it was kind of a fringe deck way back when. And it basically revolves around putting Protean Hulk into play, having it die, and then your opponent dies. So, scroll back here. To do that, we have some ways to put the Hulk into our graveyard, and then we reanimate it with the Footsteps of the Goryo. And this is a card that is obviously very, very powerful. 3 mana, just like basically unconditional reanimation, except you just get one shot and then the creature dies, so you don't even give it haste or anything like that. So basically either needs an ETB or a dies trigger in order for it to be good, or you need some way to give it haste or whatever. I do think this could make its way into the Gristlebrand deck. I do think that is a possibility, because with Nourishing Shoal you might just kill them that turn anyway. And yeah, so anyone working on that deck, feel free to try out 1 or 2 copies of this card. But we're using it just with Protean Hulk here, and when this thing dies, we search up Body Double to make a copy of our Protean Hulk, and a Viscera Seer to sack the Protean Hulk again. With the new Hulk, you then get Revelark and Mog Fanatic, and then you sack the Fanatic to deal them damage, you sack the Revelark to the Viscera Seer, and with the stuff, with the Revelark trigger, you bring back the Body Double and the Fanatic, you Body Double the Revelark, and so on and so forth, and you just, boom, infinite damage. So, if the opponent has something like a Ley Line of Sanctity, or whatever, I guess it's bad times, but hopefully, we can just power through that with our sideboard enchantment removal spells. So, basically, step 1 is put Hulk in the graveyard, step 2 is reanimate it, hopefully they die. If that stuff is not working out for whatever reason, we do have Through the Breach. Say your opponent has some graveyard hate, or, I don't know, something. Like Scavenging Ooze, just chilling. Maybe you want to keep the Hulk in your hand and build up the Through the Breach, and then you Through the Breach the Hulk, and it's basically the same deal. So, while you're waiting for these end-step sacrifice triggers to go off from Through the Breach or Footsteps of the Goryo, your Protean Hulk is vulnerable to removal like Path to Exile, so that is bad time. Either you need the Viscera Seer in play automatically, like, you just cast it, I guess, because that's a thing you can certainly do. Or you use something like Murderous Cut to kill your own Protean Hulk, or you use something like Pact Negation to counter the Path to Exile. So, we do have a little bit of protection, also can make them discard the path with Inquisition of Kozilek. So yeah, that's basically the combo. The rest of the deck is pretty normal combo stuff. We have Serum Visions to try and find our missing pieces. We have Faithless Looting and Is It Charm to try and put the Hulk in the graveyard. And also we have Jace Prodigy, and yep, the card preview thing still makes the card go super big. But yeah, so Jace is basically the reason why I wanted to try this deck. Puppy, you're being out of control. Just because it gives you a little redundancy. So you have a good way to put Hulk in the graveyard. You have a pretty good way to find your missing combo pieces because you have this looter, and you also have a thing that can potentially fight through counter magic by using its ability to give pseudo flashback to Footsteps of the Goryo or Through the Breach. So I do think Jace adds a lot to this deck. It's one of those things where you might look at me, my track history, and various modern combo decks and fair decks, and it's just like, man, Gerry's just putting Jace in everything, and that's kind of true. But I am picking and choosing my spots. I don't think Jace is necessarily good in every deck, but I do feel like this is one of those decks where, you want some way to loot, you want some way to, like, potentially flashback your stuff, so Jace kind of just fits. And that's why we're trying it out today. So, other than that, kind of normal-ish. It's like what you would expect. This deck has a ton of combo pieces, which I don't really like, because they're pretty dead if you draw them, which is why all the looting effects are in the deck. You don't have a great way to force through your thing or protect it. We have like a scant few copies of things to help us along, and hopefully that's good enough. And then you have not a ton of stuff to stop people from killing you. Just 2 Lightning Bolts, 2 Murderous Cuts, 3 Is It Charms, and then Pact Negation if you actually have 5 lands to potentially pay for that. But that's not really our first plan, So, deck is certainly a bit fragile, and I don't know, that's kind of the case with these modern combo decks that aren't really sticking to the turn 4 kill paradigm And that's just, how it's going to be. If you're trying to kill people on turn 3, you got to be a little loosey-goosey, I think. So, our sideboard against Graveyard Hate is either try and kill it with Nature's Claim or board into more Through the Breaches and more Summoner's Packs to find the Protean Hulks. More Pact Negation to protect our combo. A couple Spell Skites maybe to help us against Burn and Splinter Twin. And against something like Blue Eye Control, this might be pretty good too, because a lot of their plan is going to be pathing your Protean Hulk. So I think Spellskite is pretty good there. A couple Pyroclasms against things like Affinity and maybe Merfolk, but Merfolk seems a little too slow against this deck. And it's also Pyroclasm is not that great against them. And we have a Boseiju to force through our combo pieces, a Breeding Pool to cast our green anti-hate sideboard cards like Ancient Grudge and Nature's Claim, and that is it. So, word of warning, have never played this deck before. Will likely miss some sort of kill at some point, but, Modern is a tricky format, Magic's a hard game, and combo decks are complicated, but let's get to it.